Welcome everyone to our weekly video. This video that I'm filming here in our Daily Mass Chapel is with Don and David, both from Lamb Studios in Midland Park. You've actually met Don one other time, a few months ago when we were in their studio, but I wanted to bring them in. This is the last video that we're making before the chapel is completely finished. And Lamb Studio is the stained glass art studio in Midland Park that created our big, beautiful 18-foot high by 10-foot wide stained glass window of what I call the ascending Christ, the risen Christ, the Sacred Heart of Christ, the Sacred Heart of Jesus. It goes by a lot of different names, but it's really been a joy to work. First we worked with Don, and then we kind of shifted to Dave, and I know you guys are a team and do all this work together. So I wanted them to come on and kind of share with all of you what Lamb Studios is all about, what this project is for you guys, and just kind of share with our parishioners a little bit there. So why don't we start with you? I don't know how long, it was like a year ago that we first met, right?
Oh, yeah, approximately a year ago when we first met and talked about a project that was going to happen here with Tony Genovese, the liturgical consultant.
Correct, yeah.
And we've worked together with him on many projects together. And so it was such a beautiful beginning, hearing the inspiration from Father Stephen as to what he was experiencing with stained glass and what he would hope to experience in this chapel. And so that was the inspiration that we needed as an art studio to then take it to the next step and to start developing some designs following his indications. And then we made some design work and showed it to him. We made some changes, and Tony Genovese had his input as a liturgical consultant to bring to him what needed to be done to make it happen. Then we had to deal with the frame because the frame had to be part of the design. It couldn't be one big piece of glass that big. So that has to be integrated into the design.
Yeah, and I remember we had to move Jesus' hands and his arms and everything.
So that was a big challenge. Making the frame work with the design and the design work with the frame, so that the design was the most important facet of it all.
Right, right. Yeah. And we were trying to match our existing church, obviously on a smaller scale, but the same kind of lines and the same dimensions and the mullions and everything. That's very true. Yeah, it was a lot of give and take. And it wasn't just me representing the parish, right? We had Kathy, Lisa, Susan, Jack. We had a whole team, which thankfully were there with us. And you guys were wonderful to work with. I have to say that whole collaboration, especially with Gregor, who's really kind of the main artist, right, for this big piece. And maybe could you, either one of you, explain kind of a little bit? So I know it's called Wispa glass is the kind of the background, and then the body is different. So maybe, you know,
Sure, we developed from the design a couple different styles that we were able to implement in the stained glass. We're using opalescent stained glass, which has it's from the company called Wismach in West Virginia, and it's a wispy glass. It's still obscure enough that you can't really see in, but it does let in a lot of light. There's a lot of movement in the glass, which will help with the clouds and the terrain. And then the body of Jesus himself is more of a traditional, where we use Lambert's glass from Germany. It's imported, it's all handmade. And then that glass was painted. You would have trace lines, a matting, and each time it would be fired in a kiln. So it's two different techniques blended together to make the beautiful piece that we have. And it was a challenge to say during COVID-19 because nobody was open. The suppliers, so you're trying to get lead, you're trying to get glass, you're trying to get employees, and you're trying to juggle everything. Luckily for us, the frame was a little on the delay, the construction was delayed, so we all got delayed together. But in the end, we were able to pull it all together, and it was just a wonderful experience not only to, have you, Father Stephen, come in and develop the ideas and really bring it to life, but to have your whole staff to come in.
Yeah.
We normally do not have that much interaction.
Oh, really?
No.
Wow.
Typically, if we're working in a church that may be a couple states away,
Oh, that's
it's not
true,
that easy.
sure.
So maybe you'll have one meeting and then you're sending pictures back and forth, but you were able to see it come alive.
Good. I hope we weren't too much of a pain in the neck.
No,
Okay.
It was a real joy.
Our guys, they really enjoyed having visitors, and they love their work so much, and they
Yeah.
love to show people, and they love to get feedback as well, and that was just a wonderful element in this project.
And they really are artists. I mean, all of your guys there, I was very impressed. And when we just look at this, what David was just saying, if we can go back to the image, so the body of Jesus in the middle, both the body and the red garment, so that's the German glass
Yes.
that you were speaking about. And that's like hand blown or something,
Correct.
you were saying?
Yes.
Right. So it's kind of the rich, dark colors and the painted part of the face and everything. And I remember we really kind of stressed about all these little details, but obviously it paid off. I mean, it's the whole body, everything looks beautiful. And then the glass that's around there, basically, obviously we go from the green at the bottom, kind of representing the earth, and then the brownish tan colors representing the mountains, and then eventually going up to the sky, all the way up there. So I just love that way that gradation worked with the wisp of glass and everything. And then the other thing I have to say that I really enjoyed working with them at Lamb Studios is that I think for you guys, a lot of the work you do seems to be repair work, right? I know that one church had the big...
Recent time, yes.
Yeah, right, because the tree fell through a big stained glass window, and then you guys had to reconstruct it, and you did an awesome job. I know not everyone can see it from here, but in our bell tower, you did awesome restoration work there. I mean, it looks brand new. I mean, I know it's older stained glass, but the restoration work you did was fabulous. What I'm looking at right now, I can see the Annunciation there, but also the statue, or not the statue, the stained glass of St. Elizabeth. So for all of you parishioners, when you come, look at the bell tower, and the bell tower has the Annunciation stained glass, which I don't know what year is that from. Would you venture a guess? I mean,
That could be the early 1900s.
that's what I was figuring, right?
1930.
1930, and then the St. Elizabeth one looks even older, because St. Elizabeth almost looks like the Eucharist one, so
yes,
probably
yes, earlier than that, maybe.
early, yeah. So they did an amazing job on all that. So on behalf of the entire parish, I want to thank you most sincerely. It's been a joy working with you, and your artwork is just
I'd like to
amazing.
say one other thing about
Feel free.
working in Wyckoff, New Jersey. It's very unusual that we work so close to home. But there's another church nearby that we worked in, which many of you parishioners know of, and that's the West Side Presbyterian Church.
Oh, yes.
Which had a devastating
Fire, right after 9/11.
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And those windows were made by Lamb Studios.
Wow.
And then we were brought in for the reconstruction of the building, and that large window that you see when you pass the church was our new creation of the Good Shepherd.
Wow. So you originally did the original one, Lamb
Yeah.
Studios, and now you got to do it again? Wow.
And that's a church where they have a lot of musical
Yeah,
events.
concerts. Well, Kathy, who's behind our camera there, I know she's sung there. She sings in these
okay.
choirs there. It's a
So you
beautiful...
can appreciate that window and the circular window up in the balcony.
Yeah.
So it is a pleasure to work locally, and we appreciate the work because the people who work at Lamb Studios are local.
Right,
And
right.
you're investing into local community economy.
Yeah.
So thank you on behalf of all the workers at Lamb Studios.
Oh, you're welcome. And if any of you ever need any stained glass, maybe a little thing at home, definitely, I loved working with them, and they're really great. And then just one last fun little fact. So we all kind of grew up in Tenafly, Cresskill area. So as we were talking through different things, they're like, are you related to this Victor and that one? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, do you know this street? And then we all seem to have the same thing. So it's nice to...
We both went to Tenafly High School.
well, I went to Bergen Catholic for a little bit. Yeah, Bergen Catholic. Catholic, but I went to Tenafly Public School.
But we both went to the same church.
Exactly. We did. And I think you even knew some of, well, you knew Bruce, Victor, and I think you knew, did you know Ricky or Tommy? I don't know which ones you knew.
It was Rick,
Yeah. So it's,
Anyway,
yeah, all those family connections there. So as I said before, on behalf of everyone, thank you so much. Really, really enjoyed working with you, and the work you did is marvelous. And why don't we just say bye to our parishioners here. Thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.